Hello again. It's really great to be able to talk to you again. Today's presentation is all about the ancient civilizations that developed in India. Did you know that while civilizations were starting in the river valleys of Mesopotamia and Egypt, they were also developing in the Indus River Valley in India? Yes, civilization also developed here. As you can see from the maps, India has long river valleys like the Indus and the Ganges. India was perfect for the development of civilization as it was geographically isolated. The Himalayas to the north, the oceans to the south, east and west made it a very difficult place to invade. Nevertheless, there were routes to be found that went through the mountains. One of these routes, the Khyber Pass, is still used today. The Indus and Ganges rivers provided the perfect location to develop agriculture, whilst the annual monsoon rains guaranteed enough water for the year, even though it occasionally brought devastating floods too. There were four civilizations that developed in India. The first was the Indus River Valley civilization that developed in around 2500 BC. In about 1800 BC the Aryans invaded. The Aryans were succeeded by the Mauryan Empire, which was at its height from between 326 and 184 BC. Finally, we need to know about the Gupta dynasty, which controlled the area from 320 to 750 AD. So, the first civilization to develop was the Indus River Valley civilization. It was at its height in about 2500 BC. Archaeologists have discovered the remains of two cities that both appear to be the capitals of this civilization. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro were surprisingly modern cities. They both were planned out in a modern grid shape. They were also the oldest cities that we know of that had sewers. This tells us that they knew about the need to move dirty water out of the city, and that they had the money and resources to develop the sewers properly. It looks like they both had a social class system as outlined by the varying sizes and shapes of the houses found there. We do not know what language they spoke or wrote, though. In about 1800 BC, the Aryans migrated and eventually took over Mohenjo-Daro. The Aryans brought their religion of Hinduism into the region. With Hinduism came a rigid caste system which they also imposed. The Aryans wrote in Sanskrit. As you already know, because I just told you, the Aryans introduced Hinduism into the area. Hinduism relied upon the caste system. Basically, in the caste system you were limited to a social class depending on your occupation. Hindus also believed in many different forms as their one major deity. Because of this, many people claim that Hindus are polytheistic. This isn't quite true, though. Hindus also believed in reincarnation. The idea behind reincarnation is that there is a cycle of rebirth, so when you die you can come back as something, or someone else. This sounds way cool, but there is a catch. What you become depends on your karma. Karma is like a collection of good deed points that are awarded for your good deeds. If you collect enough, you can come back as something better. Hindus also have a set of holy books, called the Vedas and Upanishads. These are sacred writings of the religion and are some of the oldest stories ever recorded. They are even older than the stories in the Bible. The three major Hindu gods are Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer. If you have ever watched the TV show, My Name is Earl, you will have seen a show based on the Hindu ideas of karma and being born again. As this slide shows, the caste system was very rigid. At the top of the tree were the Brahmins, or priests. Below them were the warriors, called Kshatriyas. These men did most of the fighting and the ruling. In the middle of the tree were the Vaisyas, the merchants, skilled traders, and minor officials. Below the Vaisyas were the unskilled workers and servants. These were called Sudras. At the very bottom were the untouchables. They had to do the jobs that nobody else wanted. It would definitely suck to be an untouchable. They were known as pariahs or outcasts.
The caste system, which developed at the time of the Rig Veda, has also been part of the Hindu faith. The system evolved from the four orders of society that existed then: priests, princes, traders or merchants, and serfs. The caste to which one belongs is determined by birth. In reality, it has kept Indian society fragmented for thousands of years. A person's caste is passed down from generation to generation and maintained